Remember is that I was relaxing poolside and my phone was on Do Not Disturb. And it was just exactly what I needed at that moment. Today, I'm going to talk to you about my 1 month sabbatical. Yes, it was planned, but I took 1 month off of work, and it was the month I didn't know I needed. Sis, my name is Alicia Coulter, and I am the founder and owner of Safe Spaces for Black Women. So listen, I needed this sabbatical because work became too difficult for me. I was overthinking things, I was stressing out. My skin, I was getting scarring on my face, I was inflamed, I just was not doing well. And so I decided I need to take some time off work. Now, I am an entrepreneur, I do work for myself, but that meant I really had to plan for this time off. And it was one of those things where I needed it. Now, full disclosure, I usually do this at the end of the year, and during the summer, I take like a week or so off. So taking a month off was a lot, but I had to make it happen because if I didn't, I don't know physically what shape I would be in. I had gained weight. Like I said, my skin, it was a lot for me. And I disconnected from people that I generally hold near and dear to me. But I kind of disconnected because my mind just wasn't in a space that made me feel good about myself. So I took this break. And I can tell you, after taking the break, I see the difference. Like my focus is exactly where it needed to be at this time in my life. Like, I need to be able to focus. And a lot of Black women specifically are talking about they have adult ADHD. And I started to think that I had adult ADHD because I just couldn't focus. Like, my focus was off. And my body, just like your body will send you signals, it'll send you signals like, okay, let's let her hair fall out a little bit to let her know we're stressed, or let's let her get a cold sore in the summer to let on her nose to let her know she's stressed, or let's cause her to need unnecessary amounts of sleep, or she can't fall asleep at all. To let her know that she's stressed and she needs to take a moment. Your body will send you signals, and you can either listen or not listen. I decided to listen. And so I planned this sabbatical. And during this time, I went to Vegas for my sororities conference. Now, I'll be honest with you, that was not much rest, but it was fun that I needed with my family and with my sorors. So that part, I can tell you, that was like the turn up party time. And then we came back home for a week, and then we went to Napa Valley for another week. That is where I found myself again. I mean, I slept, I took naps, I was drinking wine freely, just eating great food, just having the best time of my life at that moment. It was so nice. And I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I'm usually one of those people that you can tap into when I'm gone. Not this time. I can talk to anybody. I had a friend call me like 3 times and text me like, "Girl, where are you?" When I got back, I responded. And not to, I didn't want people to worry, but I was worried about me. I was worried about Alicia. Like, am I okay? Because I literally cannot focus on work. And that's not me. If you know me, I'm very career driven. And I just couldn't be that girl at the moment. But after taking that month long sabbatical, I did. And listen, I want to say this to you. The sabbatical itself is not what changed me. It was the opportunity for me to relax, release, and restore. So I could have done that at home. I just, at that moment, I just, I needed a break. But I also understand everyone can't take a month off work. And so I want to just give you one thing that you can do to give yourself a moment of rest. What rest means restoration. Your body is literally restoring itself as you rest. And so the one thing that I would give you is to set a schedule. From the moment you walk in the door, from work, from taking care of your kids, have a schedule. What does that mean? If your kids come home from school at 5 o'clock, from 5 o'clock to bedtime should be planned, meaning dinner, uh, bathing, quality time, good night. If you don't have children, that's the same thing you can do for yourself as an adult. Dinner, bathing, quality time with yourself or your partner, and go to bed. Have a set bedtime, even if you're just laying in the bed. I'm one of those people when it's time to go to bed and I get in the bed, I have to either pray myself to sleep or I do the old school counting. Like that literally works for me. I started at 1,000 and I go to sleep. And my kids, I would tell my kids to do this, and they would say, "Well, mom, what if we miss a number?" Girl, it doesn't matter. You're going to sleep. Count backwards. It doesn't matter if you go from 1,000 to 500. You still going to sleep at some point because what that does is that just turns your brain off. As long as you're not thinking about it, 1,998. No, it's like 1,999, 998. You're just counting. So set a schedule. When my kids were little, we had a schedule. Those kids were in the bed by 7:30 at night. So set a schedule. That is the first thing and the one thing I can tell you, the practical tip. If you cannot take a sabbatical, set a schedule for yourself. That's something that I'm doing now because I had stopped. I had stopped. It was just really loosey goosey, just like, okay, girl. And when you work for yourself, sometimes it's hard, to set those schedules. It's easier to just figure it out. No, we don't have time to figure it out. So, um, you don't always need a month off. I just want to remind you of that because I'm not foolish to knowing that you don't always get a month off. I worked in corporate America for 20 plus years. So I understand the needing of time off and not always having it. I worked in the hospital where we didn't get holidays off. If you didn't have vacation time, you had to come in on that holiday or you won't get paid. So I get that. That's why I gave you a practical tip of setting a schedule. The moment you walk in that door, your time should be accounted for. For you, ladies that are budgeters, think of your time as a budget, and every moment is accounted for, just like you account for every dollar that comes into your home. So I just want to ask you, what feelings do you have right now that are serving you that you need to relax, release, and restore from? Because if they're not serving you, you have to release them so that you can restore yourself. Okay? Until next time, sis. Talk to you soon.